Okay. Shall we start? Yes, students, shall we start?
Yes, sir.
Okay. See, this tour of democracy, you must have come across this word democracy a lot many times in your junior classes, right? So, but this tour of democracy was started in class 9th. So the first chapter that you studied was what is democracy, why democracy, in which you studied about the basic definition of democracy, and then that definition was applied to the situation in different countries, right? And even in that chapter, you studied about different political parties which existed in different countries. For example, ZANU-PF in Mexico, PRI in Zimbabwe, right? Then in the second chapter was the constitutional design. What is a constitution? Why is it important for the country? Why a country should be governed according to the constitution? And then there were two case studies, how the constitution of South Africa was framed and how the constitution of India was framed by the Constituent Assembly, right? And you also studied about the ideals enshrined in the Indian Constitution and the preamble. Then the next chapter was electoral politics. In that chapter, you studied why elections are required in a democracy, how elections are conducted in India, and the criteria which makes an election democratic. And then we studied about the condition of elections and their results in India, right? Later, in the next chapter, you studied about the working of institutions. Now, why am I telling you this? Why am I telling you about the class 9th political science or democratic politics? Because the tour that we started in class 9th is going to end in class 10th. Now, if you look class 10th democratic politics, you will see that we started with the chapter power sharing, right? Now, at the end of that chapter, we studied about what are the different forms of power sharing in modern day democracy. So the answer to that was the first form of power sharing was horizontal distribution of power, right? In which the power is divided between the different organs of the government. That is, what are the different organs of the government? Abhishek, what are the different organs of the government? Hello, Abhishek.
Yes, sir.
Yes, what were the different organs of the government?
So executive, legislative, and judiciary.
Yes, legislature, executive, and judiciary. So that was the first form of power
Yes, sir.
sharing. You have already studied about in class 9.
Yes, sir.
Then the second form of power sharing was vertical form of power sharing between the different levels of the government, central, state, and then a new third order was introduced, local government. Right? So we have a complete chapter on that, federalism. In federalism, you studied about how federalism is different from unitary form of government. What are the different types of federal structures? What makes India a federal country? And then the third level, which was introduced in 1991 by the 73rd Amendment. Then there were two more chapters, or the third form of power sharing is with the different social groups. So, however, this year the board has omitted those chapters, democracy and diversity, and in India, the power is shared among three different social groups. They are on the basis of gender. As you can see, that 1/3 of the seats are reserved for women in local government bodies. How power can be shared between religious groups or religion, and then caste. As you know that there are reservation for scheduled caste and scheduled tribes in the local government bodies as well as in the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha according to the proportion of their population. And then the last form of power sharing was the power sharing between political parties, pressure groups, and social movements. Now there is another chapter in class 10th political science, which is pressure groups, or you can say movements. However, that has also been omitted. So now we are coming to the chapter political parties. How political parties share power in democracy. So in this chapter, we have seen how political parties act as vehicles of federal sharing of political power and as negotiators, or you can say representatives of different social groups in democratic politics or in modern day democracies. So in this chapter, we'll be closely looking at the nature and working of political parties in India. However, there are certain questions which we need to ask ourselves. Do we really need political parties? And how many political parties are good for a democracy?
Sir, this
Yes,
depends,
Abhishek.
sir.
Yes,
Sir,
Abhishek,
it
what happened?
depends. So your question that how many parties are good for democracy, it depends on different factors, sir.
Okay, yes, that will also be answered during when
Sir,
we'll be
like,
doing this chapter.
okay, sir. Okay.
And we'll also look at what is wrong with the functioning of political parties. What are the problems which are associated with the functioning of political parties, right? Okay, we'll be starting with the chapter. Okay. Now, in today's times, as you know, that elections are going to be conducted for the legislative assemblies in 5 states, and Punjab and Uttar Pradesh are already geared up for the elections. So political parties are easily one of the most visible institutions in a democracy. Now, because you are studying political science from class 6, you have studied political science in class 9th and 10th in detail. So you might be aware about the constitution and its values. You are aware of the different organs of the government, legislature, executive, and judiciary. However, if you travel to remote parts of the country, See, it is very easy for you to say things that India is a democracy. There are different organs of the government which perform different functions on the basis of the constitution. But if you travel to villages, there, the people who are uneducated or elderly people, they may not know anything about the constitution or the nature of the government or how does it functions. But the chances are very much that they would know something about the political parties. However, if you will ask them which political party is better, you might get an answer that no political party is good. That one party comes to the power and the other one makes the accusations कि महंगाई बहुत बढ़ गई है, पेट्रोल के दाम बढ़ गए हैं, सिलेंडर के दाम बढ़ गए हैं, गवर्नमेंट ने कुछ अच्छा नहीं किया. And the next time when the other party comes to the power, the party which were ruling earlier will make the same accusations. Okay? For example, before 2014 election, what was the slogan given by BJP against Congress? Do you know? What was the slogan given by BJP during 2014 elections? Yes, Manasvi.
एक भारत अच्छे दिन आने वाले, अच्छे दिन.
Yes, अच्छे दिन आएंगे. And the next time they gave the slogan, अब की बार
मोदी सरकार.
Yes, अब की बार फिर मोदी सरकार. Right. So when Congress was the ruling party, the BJP used to make accusation that inflation has gone up, the prices of petrol has gone up, LPG is very expensive for people who belong to lower income families, right? But again, now when the BJP has come to power, the things have not changed much, right? So the political parties are popular, but this being popular does not mean popularity. You understand? Being popular does not mean popularity. What does it mean? That they know about it, but they are critical. They are criticizing the functioning of political parties and they blame the political parties for everything which is wrong in our country. Therefore, it is very natural to ask, when all the political parties are corrupt and they are just fighting elections to come into power, so why do we need political parties? About 100 years ago, or you can say when the French Revolution happened, there were very few political parties or ideologies like liberals, radicals, and conservatives. And within these 100 years, now, majority of the countries in the world have some or the other political party, right? Even if they are not democratic, they have a political party. For example, let's take the case of China. China is not a democracy as we have seen it in class 9, because there is only one political party which can contest election and form the government. Which party is that? Which political party contested elections in China and the only party which could form the government?
Communist Party.
Yes, Communist Party, right? So even though China is not a democracy, they have a political party. Even when Pakistan was not a democracy, when Pervez Musharraf was the dictator, it had political parties, right? So political parties are omnipresent in all the countries around the world. But then why do we need political parties at all? Why political parties have become omnipresent? Let us first understand what are political parties, and then later we can answer the rest of the questions. So basically, in society, there are different social groups. So a political party is a group of people who come together to contest elections and hold power or form government in the country. Now, to become a part of a political party or a group like that, all of the people must have same opinion and same views regarding the policies and programs which the party is going to implement. See, in nationalism in India, we have seen that the Congress wanted to raise the issues in the national movement for different social groups. However, certain social groups were left out, like Dalits, Muslims, poor peasantry, working class labor. So they formed their own political party. So since there can be different views on what can be good for the society, there can be different political parties, right? For example, for a working class labor, higher wages would be his demand. For an industrialist, free market would be his demand. So there can be different political parties representing different social groups. And these political parties try to persuade people that their policies are better than the others, so that the people will vote in the favor of those political parties. And when they will win the elections, they will get a chance to implement those policies which were promised to the people. However, political parties reflect fundamental political divisions in a society, which is known as partisanship. Now, what is partisanship? Now, a person who is strongly committed to a party, group, or a faction, it is marked by a tendency to take a side and inability to take a balanced view on an issue. For example, आप में से कुछ की families बीजेपी को support करती होगी. How many of you are BJP supporters here? Is there anyone a BJP supporter out here? Abhishek?
सर मेरा मिक्स सा ओपिनियन है सर.
Okay. Manasvi, are you a Modi ji fan?
No, sir.
You are not a Modi ji fan. Then whom do you support?
सर ऐसे तो किसी को नहीं करती.
Okay. But then if you have to choose, if you have to vote 3 or 4 years later, whom will you vote? Will you vote Congress?
No, sir, BJP only.
BJP only. Okay. But then because you support BJP, you become against Congress?
No, sir. Um,
Okay. So the party is known by the ideology which it stands for. So now coming to the components of a political party has three components basically: the leaders, the active members, and the followers. Now, BJP has Amit Shah, Modi ji, Rajnath Singh, Nirmala Sitharaman. These are the top leaders in that political party, right? The major decisions regarding the policies and programs of that political party are taken by these top leaders. But you will also have members of that political party in your area who organize rallies and meetings, who contest elections for that political party in your area. So they are the active members of that particular party. And people who are in favor of a particular party are known as its active members. Like, I support Aam Aadmi Party, but I do not go to the meetings of an Aam Aadmi Party, or I do not contest elections for Aam Aadmi Party. So who am I? Who am I? Am I an active member or a follower? Yes, Abhishek, who am I out here in this case?
What, sir?
If I say I support Aam Aadmi Party, but I do not contest elections for Aam Aadmi Party. So who am I? Am I an active member
No,
or
sir.
a follower?
Just a follower, sir.
Okay, good. So a political party has three basic components. What are they?
Leader, active members, and
Leader, active members, and the followers, right? Okay. So now let's look at the functions which are performed by political parties. Just read the first two functions and then I'll explain it to you. The first function is that the political parties contest elections. Now, in most democracies, elections are fought by the candidates which are put up by political parties. Now, there are two different ways in which political parties can select their candidates. So, in some countries, the members of the political party and its supporters choose the candidate who is going to fight the election. In countries like India, the political leaders choose who is going to contest the election. Okay? Which method is better according to you? The next, okay, what do you think, Manaswi? Which option is better? Either the member or the supporters of the political party should choose the candidates, or the leaders of the political party?
Members and supporters of a party.
Yes, that's a more democratic tradition of choosing a candidate. Right? Now just quickly go through the second point and then I'll explain it to you. Okay, now parties put forward different policies and programs. Now every party before the election releases its election manifesto in which they have given what are the policies and programs they are going to implement if they win the elections and come to power, right? So each of us may have different opinions and views on what policies are suitable for the society. But there can be n number of opinions and views regarding what can be good for a society. So different policies and programs are put forwarded by political parties. A party reduces a number of opinions into a few basic positions which it supports, and if it wants the election, then the policies of the government are based on that election manifestos. Okay. Now quickly go through the point number 3, 4, and 5 and 6. Okay, just let me know when you are done. Okay. Now, parties play a very important role in making laws for the country. As you know, the laws are debated and discussed and then passed by the legislature. However, who are present in the legislature? Who are present in the Lok Sabha? The member of parliament, but these member of parliaments, they belong to a political party, even if some of the candidates are independent candidates, the rest of the candidates belong to a political party. And the members of a political party, they go by the direction of the party leadership. For example, the BJP-led government passed the 3 farm bills. Even if some member of BJP is against these 3 farm bills, do you think he can oppose the bill openly? Yes. Do you think that he can oppose the bill openly?
Can you say who, sir?
Let's say the BJP-led government has introduced the 3 farm bills in the parliament. Now,
Yes,
a
sir.
member of the BJP is up against these farm bills. So can he oppose it openly?
Yes, sir.
That would be a very difficult situation for him, because then he will be called by the party leaders. Why are you why are you going against the party?
Oh, yes, sir. He can do like, sir, other parties can give him an
Other
invite and
parties
then he
can,
can go
but
there.
yes, the members of a political party follow the direction given by the party leaders.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then the fourth function is parties form and run governments. As you have seen, the BJP won the majority of the seats in the parliament, so they formed the government on its own. If no party gains majority, they form a coalition. So political parties form and run governments. Now, let's say a political party won the majority of the seats in the parliament, so they will form the government. The rest of the political parties who have not gained majority in the parliament, what will they do? They will play the role of,
Opposition.
yes, very good, Abhishek. They play the role of opposition. Then sixth function is political parties. They shape public opinion. Quickly go through this. They shape public opinion. How do they shape public opinion? They raise and highlight issues, like when Congress was the ruling party, there were a lot of scandals and scams which came out in the public, and these were highlighted by the BJP or the opposition party at that point of time. So they shaped the opinion of the public against the Congress-led government in 2014. So because of that, the Congress lost the elections and BJP came to power, right? So similarly, in Delhi, a movement was led by Anna Hazare against the Congress-led government, against the corruption which was there in the government. Because of that, a new political party was formed and it came to power in 2014. Which political party was that? Yes. Yes, which political party was formed after that? After the Anna Hazare movement? Yes, Manasvi, you answer me. Which political party was formed after the Anna Hazare movement?
I'm not sure.
Okay, still give an answer. If you have to give an answer.
Sir, Aam Aadmi Party.
Yes, exactly. Aam Aadmi Party. Okay. So in today's class, we have seen how political parties are an integral part of democracy. What is a political party? What are its components? And what are the different functions performed by the political party? Political parties contest elections. They put forward different policies and programs. They play a very important role in making laws for the country. Either they are in the ruling, it's the ruling party or it's the opposition party. They form and run governments. They play the role of opposition. They shape public opinion and they provide people access to government machinery and welfare schemes. Okay? Is it clear to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. So the necessity, we will do it later in the next class. What I want you to do is just go through the functions of the political party one by one. If you have any doubts, just let me know.
Okay, sir.
Done with these two? Done? Have you read all of them?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So that's it for today. Read the chapter, revise the topics we have done today in class, and we will do the rest of the chapter in the next class. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Okay. All right.
Thank you,
Good
sir.
day. All right. Okay.
Thank you,
Good
sir.
day. Okay, Vishnu. Good day.